I've got a couple of things. I think one big thing and then a couple of more minor things, all with a similar theme though. Try to get this camera in the right place. All right, cool. So we got a couple of things. I've been looking around, debating about picking up a couple of items, but haven't pulled the trigger yet. But this actually arrived yesterday and I have been holding it, thinking that I would do a live video today. So I'm gonna unbox this thing for you guys, and then I have a couple of books that I picked up about a month ago that are associated with what's inside this box that I'll also show you guys. Tech, how you doing, bud? Dead Clone, how you doing? Thank you guys for joining. I think there's like 5 of you here now, so we'll give it another minute and then we'll make some things happen. The boy who had 7. What's going on, brother? How you doing? I tagged you today on Instagram. I got tagged by a couple of people for, what is it, Top Variant Tuesday. So I decided to tag you on IG. I actually put up my, it was at my Hope Summers first appearance. I think it was X-Men 205 that I posted up. J-Rod, how you doing, bud? Oh man, Captain America 109 first print, very nice, very nice. Did you get that today? Yeah, I'm actually putting together, I've got a, what is it, a BCW box, the plastic box. I've been like squirreling away modern books that I want to send into CGC to do a pre-screen on, and I think I'm gonna screen for, I'm debating whether I want to do 9.8 or 9.6, but I'm gonna submit the 25 book minimum and send those in. Right now I'm probably at about 32 books, so I need to whittle it down and get it back to like the 25 or so, because I think 25 is what an invoice is, so I think that's what I'll end up sending in. But hopefully we can get some more 9.8s back into the collection. Hey Tony, good, congratulations, brother. Congratulations on the Captain America 109. I actually got this book yesterday, as I was saying, and I've been holding on to it. Somebody did a really nice job kind of packaging this one up for me in a repurposed box of some sort. So we'll crack this thing open in a couple of seconds. Gorilla, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you guys for all joining. All right, so I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram on my athlete page, but I kind of told people that I haven't worked out in like 3 weeks. So I think a lot of people were kind of struggling with this idea that I hadn't trained in 3 weeks. And so it is actually the longest break that I've taken in 7 years from the gym. So when I was competitively, doing bodybuilding competitions, I was basically working out 2 and sometimes 3 times a day. And I decided to give myself a break now that I'm no longer competing. And I basically took 3 weeks off, and I ate a lot of cookies and a lot of sushi and a lot of burgers and fries. And I have been enjoying life, not that I wasn't enjoying it before, but now it's like, I want a cookie, I eat a cookie. So I say that to say that I'm gonna keep this video short, or this live exchange short, because I actually need to go to the gym to train. So Thanatos, how you doing, man? Be careful, brother, be careful. I actually just got a ticket the other day for being on my phone while driving on the freeway. According to the police, that's dangerous. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. Trinity Entertainment, how you doing, man? I reached out to Thanatos earlier today, and I was just telling him, it's kind of cool how a lot of people are starting to like pay attention to some of the things that he and I are doing. And it's just kind of cool because, I'm still trying to figure this thing out. I'm still just having fun. And then, people give me shout outs and videos and tags on Instagram. I think it's all cool. And it goes back to like why I started doing this was because so often, many of us are like isolated in our worlds, right? Where there aren't other people that you can talk about comics with. And so it's just cool to have this community, to be able to do videos like this where we get to interact with one another And it's just cool to be received so well, where, you know, again, people are like tagging me, giving me shout outs and messaging me just to say hey, or to talk about books. It's fun because I don't get a chance to do that like with real people or face to face. So it's cool to be able to at least do it virtually, and holding off opening it because I wanted to do a live video. And like I said, yesterday was my first day back in the gym in 3 weeks. I had to prioritize that versus opening this book. And so I'm going to go ahead and crack this thing open. It is not a major key. It's not a major key, but I think it's an important book, right? Part of what I've been doing is trying to get a lot of these undervalued first appearances, because there are a lot of them out there. And so, you know, part of it, what I was doing was grabbing the first appearances and the first full appearance of a lot of the cosmic characters, thinking that the MCU is going to head more into space versus being Earth-based the way that it has been. And so I've been picking up a lot of these first appearances of these cosmic characters. This one isn't necessarily a cosmic character, even though he does kind of operate outside of Earth. So remember, we'll get them before they're hot. Exactly. DS Comics, how you doing, brother? DS Comics is another guy that I talk to fairly often. He and I were trying to track down something, and then he was on a faceless chat with a bunch of other faceless people, and they actually solved the conundrum, I think. I actually recorded a video that I was going to release, and then he solved the problem before I could release my video. But yeah, Boy Who Had Seven, that's the plan, man, is to try to get ahead of what may happen in the MCU. And even if the MCU doesn't necessarily go towards the cosmic in the next round, at some point they will. But I think first appearances and first full appearances are never a bad way to go, right? First, I think I'm interested in these characters. And then second, if something happens, then I'm already ahead of the curve, you know? Yeah, Tony. So that's the thing, man, is that, I talked about this on a live chat that I did the other day. I've always been a little hesitant, and Thanatos and I have talked about this. I've been a little hesitant with like sharing the fact that I collect comics with people, because when I was younger, it was never the cool thing to do. And I think I carry some of that baggage with me. And Matt Thanatos is a little younger than I, and I think he doesn't necessarily attach that same type of stigma to collecting the way that I do. And I think that's a great thing, that he doesn't feel that stigma that I feel like. And people find out that I collect comics, I'm still a little reserved about like even engaging people in a discussion should they come to find out in some way, shape, or form. DS Comics is talking about the no face chat that Bubs Comics initiated the other day. It was actually really cool. I mean, it was a bunch of faceless guys except for one that inadvertently showed his face. But it was just a good exchange. And if you guys haven't watched this, I think this is their second live show. I encourage you guys to check them out, because DS Comics was dropping knowledge. Like, I don't like horror, or I'm not really a pre-code horror guy, nor am I a horror guy. But I was like taking notes when he was talking about horror comics and like the significance of what was happening in that time frame. The guy has a depth of knowledge that I'm impressed by. So if you're into horror stuff, I encourage you to check out DS Comics. If you're into someone that creates thought-provoking content, check out DS Comics as well. All right, people think that it's cute. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this thing up. And I got it was wrapped in some bubble wrap, which is always a good thing. The box was undamaged like so many other boxes. And I even got a cute little note. Check that out. Can't go wrong with a cute note. I sell some stuff on eBay, but I never put little, can you even see that? I never put little cute notes on my stuff, so maybe I should, because that's cool. All right, so what I ended up getting is a book with a very beat up bag. You can see it's pretty beat up. All right, what this thing is, and this is cool to actually see it in person. This is not a major key book, but it is X-Men number 107. It is the first appearance of the Starjammers, and it is also, they don't even mention it here, it is actually the first appearance of Gladiator as well. And I'm not quite sure why Gladiator isn't even mentioned on the tag, but this is the first appearance of Gladiator and also the Starjammers. And I think it's Coasair. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. He actually goes on to become Cyclops' father, I do believe. So this is a pretty cool book. It is a first appearance. I picked it up at an 8.5. What I've been doing with a lot of these, not necessarily key books, but first appearances, is that I'm not killing myself trying to get 9.8s. I'm getting a decent book in a decent grade, and a respectable grade that I can feel comfortable with. And this book is actually in pretty solid shape. I'll show you guys this thing, show you the back of it, but it's in pretty good shape. I took a really close look at it when I bought it off of eBay. The back isn't exactly Snow White, but it's actually not in bad shape. So it's decent. So DS Comics is thanking me for the kind words. Brother, if I didn't mean it, I wouldn't say it. Trust me when I say that. So yeah, I think it was a DS Comics. Were you the one I was talking to about these books? You know, you and I have been having some exchanges, and I think, you know, we were talking about some of these cosmic characters. And I don't know that Gladiator is a cosmic character per se, even though again he operates outside of Earth. But I wanted to pick this book up again because it is, you know, relatively an important character, and even a more important character a little bit later on. But RB3 just joined. Ray, how you doing, brother? What's cool about like Ray, for example, RB3, is that he does these wonderful analysis that will show you oftentimes it's not the 9.8 that has the best return on investment. It's actually some of those lower grade books, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. You know, maybe the price of entry is a little bit lower. Maybe because the book isn't so expensive, it exchanges hands a lot more, and so it appreciates. But I think if you are interested in like investment analysis, to be a smart buyer, check out RB3. So what's cool though, and I'm going to do some more research on this, and I may end up doing a longer video, is that Gladiator, which makes his appearance in X-Men 107, to some degree or another is actually a homage to Superman and DC Comics. I think it was Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum, I guess, were fans of like DC's, I think it's the Legions or something like that, which is somewhat related to Superman. And so Gladiator is kind of based off of Superman lore. And I think his home planet is a combination of Superman's home planet and his Earth name or something like that. Again, I've only started to scratch the surface in terms of doing the research on this, but I may do a longer video where I fully explain the connection between the two, and it'll be a lot better than me doing this off the top of my head without fully researching the idea. Yeah, RB3. You do a wonderful job with the videos, brother. That's why I continue to watch those videos. And Tech 31 Kid is basically talking about he prefers the low to mid grade books. You know, for me, it's more like, you know, I know people say that they only do this or only do that, and I don't think that anyone in this room is saying that. I'm kind of making a point that to some degree or another, it's almost like it depends on the book, right? Because I would love a high grade in Amazing Spider-Man #1, right? But the reality is that I probably won't get it. And so I adjust what I'm buying based upon the book and its affordability. And so when I look at that book, for example, I look at like a 2.5 or a 3. That's like it. You know, higher than that, it would be great, but that's not necessarily in the cards for me. So, you know, even with a book like this, I made a decision that I wasn't going to do a 9 or a 9.2. I decided that an 8.5 was good enough for this particular book. But like DS Comics and I have spoken about some modern books, I have a huge stack of modern books right here. I'm actually going to get those pre-screened by CGC, hopefully at 9.6 and above, because again, it's based upon the book, it's based upon the time, it's based upon the significance of the book. And I was looking at Fantastic Four 49, looking at maybe getting a couple of extra copies of that, and I was actually looking at 3s. Because again, if like RB3's analysis holds true for like what could happen with Fantastic Four 49 the way it did for 48, even those low grade books will be worth a lot in the future. Yeah, Tony Sanders, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see the chat on the replay, so I'm trying to play some of this stuff back. There were some comments about here from Tony Sanders about he doesn't care what the grade is so long as he has it in his personal collection. I completely agree with you. You know, if you don't have the book, then you're not even in the game, right? And so the first thing is to get in the game, right? Buy the book, not the label. Tech 31 Kid, good points. Fantastic Four 49 is definitely affordable, right? I don't know if you saw Timothy, the Canadian, my previous video, live video, actually picked up 49 for, I think, a pretty reasonable price. It was not actually what it's even going for, even close. So I felt very comfortable about what I paid for that book. And I want to say it was a 7.5, and I was actually very comfortable with that grade for that particular book. And as I look at Fantastic Four 48, I may do a little bit less than that, just because that book I think is a little crazy right now. So in this vein of Gladiator and his first appearance in X-Men 107, I picked up a couple of extra books in this same vein. I went out and picked up what I think, and DS Comics, you may have to check me on this, what I think is his first full appearance, because Gladiator is I guess maybe this is his full appearance. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is 8.5 with white pages. So I just noticed that Gladiator is actually down here at the bottom. So this may be his first appearance and his first full appearance, because he is technically on the cover. I guess the back of his mohawk counts. But I also picked up Fantastic Four number 249. I think 107 was released in 1977, and I want to say Fantastic Four 249, where he battled the Fantastic Four, and then later, I believe in this issue, the X-Men was out in 1982, I believe. And I picked this one up because I thought that this one was his first full appearance, having been on the cover here, because I actually did not notice that he was on the cover of 107 before. So I need to, again, continue doing a little bit of research to make sure that I'm accurate in some of the things that I'm talking about. But I also picked up another book. And I picked this other book up because it was his entire origin of like where the Gladiator came from. So I picked up, I think it's War of Kings, Warriors #1. And it's this book here, which I believe goes into his origin story. I've actually had this book in a box for the last month and haven't even opened it up yet. So at some point I will actually read this one, but I believe that this is his origin story. So let me check this out and see. We Love Comics. How you doing, Chris? I would completely agree with you, brother. We Love Comics. Chris is making a comment that anything X-Men or Fantastic Four related are great pickups at this point. I completely agree with you. I was looking at some threes of Fantastic Four 48 earlier today. And then I went back last night and I actually read digitally Fantastic Four number 13, the first appearance of the Watcher. So I thought that was pretty cool, because I'd like to potentially pick that book up as well. Broke Cause of Comics, how you doing, brother? You just picked up, wow, just picked up Near Mint Fantastic Four 249, same book for, what'd you say? You got it for $1, The Boy Who Had 7. I can't remember what I paid for this book, brother, but I don't think it was that far off, to be honest with you. And I actually got this off of eBay. I want to say I paid more for shipping than I did for the actual book, but congrats on getting on that one. Kind of scrolling here through some of the comments. Love those Bronze Age Fantastic Four, says the Canadian. Dead Clone. Yep, 232 through 294. John Byrne, you are correct, sir, in that. Rather have the book than not have it. Yep, I completely agree. So again, I'm going to go back and do some more research on this to make sure, because again, I picked up 107 because I knew it was his first appearance. Didn't realize the dude was on the cover. So the first full appearance may not be the Fantastic Four 249. It may be the 107. But I do believe, again, that the origin is this War of Kings, Warriors #1. So just a couple of books that I wanted to pick up and kind of show you guys. Again, I've been buying books little by little, not major books because I'm saving up for something major, but I've been picking up some little things here and there to kind of continue adding to the personal collection, again on this theme of picking up these first appearances that I think are a little undervalued, which is part of the reason why I got the Fantastic Four 49, because I believe that that is definitely a book that's undervalued. I don't know if you guys know this, there is going to be a first appearance of a new character released tomorrow in Amazing Spider-Man #1. And I was talking to some guys online earlier today that said that they have confirmed that there is indeed going to be a first appearance tomorrow. So I actually put in an order with 3 local comic shops for a couple of books to make sure that I covered my bases. So if you guys haven't done that, you might want to look into it, especially if you're an Amazing Spider-Man fan. So David Finch, oh wow. RB3 brother, I at some point I'm going to get down there to Vegas because there's a lot of content that comes out of Torpedo Comics. I know that a lot of guys are filming live and also posting videos every time that there's one of these signings. And I think I saw the other day that the Torpedo Comics guys have supposedly worked out some of those kinks that I think you were talking about in one of your recent videos with people jumping the line. So maybe I'll let them continue to work out those kinks and you tell me whether they have been worked out before I make a trip down there. Comics with Bueller. How you doing, brother? I saw that you picked up that Amazing Spider-Man #100. I think I saw it on Instagram. It is such a gorgeous cover, right? I have the 2 copies. I think it was a 4.5 and a 5, and then I saw that you had posted up one as well. Congratulations on that because it is a gorgeous cover. Scrolling down through here. There are lots of minor keys that are practically unknown. Great to pick up. DS Comics is making that comment. Hey, DS Comics. So DS Comics and I were talking the other day, and it came up because I think in one of my videos I showed Secret Wars #1, which is the first appearance of the Beyonder. And DS Comics reached out to me after the video was posted. He made the comment about at the halfway point in the book, there was possibly a color variant that was happening with Galactus. And if you open it up, if you have this book, you'll notice that he's probably blue and white. And so we were trying to figure out whether this was a print variant or whether it was something else that was going on. And so I started kind of looking into it. I wasn't finding anything. I recorded this video to basically say, hey, if you have Secret Wars #1, crack it open and tell me what color Galactus is at the centerfolds. And he did a chat with Bub's Comics, and I think they determined that it was a first print, second print kind of thing and not a variant per se. But super excited about that because I had 2 copies of Secret Wars, and both of them had the blue and white Galactus. So unfortunately, no variant there. Got the Spider-Man 100, I saw that. Minor keys, here, let me scroll down. Yeah, a Boy Who Has 7, yeah, we're talking about Torpedo Comics in Vegas. RB3 actually lives there, and they do these really cool things. I think they have like VIP passes and gold passes, and it allows you to get a certain number of signatures or something like that at an associated time. And then I think if you're VIP, you also get a lunch or something like that. RB3 actually does a couple of videos on the recent one with, I think it was Frank Miller. He actually kind of talked about the experience, and so you might want to check those out. But they do these signings on a regular basis from what he's been telling me. Yeah, Boy Who Has 7, crack it open, check it, and then let me know. Because everyone is basically saying that they've seen the blue and white, but no one has seen the appropriately colored Galactus at the centerfolds. So it probably exists, but no one's seen it. So if you haven't, let me know, because I want to buy it. The gold gets you lunch, regular is just autographs. And isn't there a VIP, RB3? Isn't there a VIP, or did I get that wrong? Tony Sanders is joking that that's the only reason why he would go to Vegas. Brother, there was a stretch where I seemed to be in Vegas like every couple of months for work. And I'm not a Vegas fan, but I was there on a regular basis. What if you're colorblind? I don't know what you see if you're colorblind. You know, a guy that works for me is actually colorblind, and we struggle because we do a lot of things with color. And he's always like, what color is that? You know, Torpedo Con is Sunday at LAX. Second print has the right color. Didn't even know there was a second print. Neither did I. Actually listened to you comment on that. And I actually saw the corrected version. If you look at it digitally, the correct color is there. But again, in the 2 copies that I had, which are both direct, it was blue and white, and he wasn't appropriately colored. Also, so there is, RB3 is basically saying that Torpedo Comics does have a Gold's VIP lunch. Okay, VIP is autographs, then there's a general. Okay. It's white and blue? Yeah. Yep, white and blue. So if anyone has the appropriately colored Galactus, let me know, because I want it. I don't know, bro. That's so Comics with Bueller is asking a question around whose signature would I want that I don't already have. So I have Stan Lee, I have John Romita, I'm getting Todd McFarlane on Amazing Spider-Man 300. I have Mark Bagley because I'm a friend of his, not a friend of his, a fan of his. Thanks to RB3, I actually have Jim Lee. I would honestly love a couple of more Jim Lee signatures, to be honest with you. Just because I like Jim Lee's artwork. I'd like to get his signature on some X-Men books, maybe some newsstands. Ditko would be cool. I think that'd be cool. Kirby would be cool. I mean, I think it's some of those more, some of those not necessarily modern artists that I would like to get signatures from, because I think that that's just cool. You know, many of these guys are getting older, they're passing away. And to me, you know, yes, I can appreciate their art, but it would also be amazing for me if it were possible to be in a room with them to capture their signature, right, on one of my books. And that's why I went to go meet Stan Lee, because it was a moment that I would, you know, that you'll never forget, right? But if I can't be in the room with them, breathe in the same air, then I think like a Kirby and a Ditko would be some of the people that I would want a signature from. I think those that's a great question, actually. Somebody actually reached out to me. I think it was on one of my videos. They posted up, would I do a video where I feature some of the books that I have signatures for? And I may actually do that at some point. I actually have a lot of books. Mark Silvestri, I got him to sign some books. I think Eric Larson signed some books for me. Mark Bagley signed books for me. These were all books that I picked up when I was much younger. And what's funny is I don't remember any of them. I don't remember meeting any of these guys, but I have books with their signatures on them. So I must have met them at some point. But I remember back when I was a young man, as a kid collecting comics, I didn't necessarily speak a whole lot. But I would definitely get in line. I would collect my signature and I would just walk away. I wouldn't necessarily engage them. It's not like now, you know? Hard to get a sig if they have passed away. Yes, Chris, that is true, that it is harder. I said if it were possible, but there's one girl that is on Instagram that is collecting like Kirby signatures left and right. Collecting Stan Lee signatures left and right. Like, she is stockpiling signatures. I want to say even John Romita Sr. She is stockpiling signatures on books because she has a plan. Because again, many of these guys are getting older and they're passing away, and so she has a long-term plan for her collection. DS Comics is talking about Frank Miller, Neil Adams signatures. Those are definitely, I was tempted to send some books to RB3 to get Frank Miller, you know. Jim Lee autograph, yeah. Oh, I love that. Comics with Bueller, I appreciate that, brother. A Jim Lee autograph, you cannot go wrong with that, my friend. So for those that don't know, our Comics with Bueller did a wonderful contest, and I can't remember what it was because this guy's like adding subscribers left and right. So it was at some mark that he has blown past now. But I thankfully won his contest, and I think he said to me it is a 35-pound box of goodies that he is mailing me. It's a combination of comics, figures, I don't know, maybe he threw some omnibus and some rocks in there. I don't know. 35 pounds is what he's going to be sending to me, and I may actually do a live unboxing of everything. But if you haven't checked out Comics with Bueller, check him out. He does some crazy stuff. But he is a guy that absolutely loves comics and likes to have fun. It's very apparent if you watch his videos. So, and he is a fan of coffee, which I am as well. So check him out. Stanley is worth his money. Yeah. Yep. Yep. We love comics, Chris. I think that you're right, but I think that's just because in these last few years, right, air quotes, he's been signing just about everything. So I think you're probably right about that. I'd be curious what your thoughts are around like the Ditko, the Kirby, the John Romita Sr., whether you think that those are going to be worth something, because I think that those guys are a little bit more recluse than Stan Lee. Stan Lee is a showman, right? And so, he is definitely, or someone is definitely taking advantage of the situation, right? And trying to make as much money as possible. But some of those other guys, I think, are a little bit more recluse than him. And so maybe they will have some value, or will continue to have value if they don't already. Kirby for sure already. Yeah, I mean, Kirby's artwork is incredible, man. I mean, you take a look at some of his stuff and it's just incredible. And you hear about why he was so highly regarded. There was a lot of reasons for it. And one of the big was his ability to put out so much work and to draw panel after panel, book after book really, really quickly and really well. And so I think that that's why his body of work is partly so large. Yeah, so DS Comics is raising a point here around people that get signatures on books that Stan had nothing to do with. And I think I talked about this before in one of my videos where I got him to sign Amazing Spider-Man number 50. I wanted to get his signature on a book that he actually had something to do with versus just a random book. And so, it wasn't for me. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but I know people do it. I know I saw people when I was in line actually getting his signature on the box for Pops. I guess the little Pops figures, they were signing the box that the Pop was in. And again, it's not necessarily something that I would do, but people chose to do that. And I guess if they have 140 or 125 bucks to spend that way, I guess it's their call to do that, Yeah, because We Love Comics, Chris is making a comment here around the cost of getting Stan Lee's signature. It is not cheap, right? I think at one thing I was at, it was $125 if you purchased it in advance, but if you purchased it at the event, I want to say it jumped up to 140 or something like that, which is expensive. And then you look at some of these other guys who signed for like 25 bucks. I mean, isn't what is his name? Thanos creator, Starling. He signed, I want to say, for like 25 bucks or something like that. And I guess he's out there a lot more than I thought. I've been seeing him pop up at 5 or 6 different conventions, but again, he's charging 25 bucks. So I'm reading some of the comics for a photo. Yeah, 100 bucks for a photo. I pass on that. I took a photo of him for free as I was standing in line. Stan Lee's signature 5 years ago was like 60 bucks, which is still kind of expensive, right? J-Rod, definitely. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to show these books one more time, and then, because I can honestly sit here with you guys and have this conversation and have this interaction for a long period of time. But as I mentioned when I first got on this thing, I haven't been to the gym in like 3 weeks, and yesterday was my first day back. And so I can't keep saying your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector if I don't actually go to the gym. So I'm going to end this thing in a second and go hit the gym. But I want to show you guys the books again that I picked up for those that have joined and maybe a little bit late and missed it at the beginning. I picked up X-Men number 107, 8.5 white pages, because this is the first appearance of Gladiator. It's a story by Chris Claremont, but it is a pretty nice book. And when I picked the book up, I didn't realize Gladiator was down here in the bottom of the thing. And so I was thinking, hey, what is his first full appearance, right? Because the first full appearance is in the book, throughout the book, and then also on the cover. Did notice him there until I actually started recording this video. But I went out and also purchased Fantastic Four number 249, thinking that this was his first full appearance. I think that I am now correct, and that it is 107 and not 249 of Fantastic Four, but it is a good book nevertheless that I have. And then the last book that I picked up was a War of Kings Warriors number 1. And I picked up this book because it is the origin of Gladiator. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, Gladiator was created by Chris Claremont and Dave Cochran, who I believe were fans of DC and fans of Superman. And so the origin of Gladiator is somewhat rooted in DC Comics and in Superman. And I may actually do some additional research and actually record a longer video where I actually talk about that relationship between the characters to kind of tie it all together. I think that might make a nice video because, as you guys tell, I was a communications major in college, and I like to do research and I like to tell stories. And so this is a great way for me to kind of do a little bit of that, is to do the research, tell a story, and do it via this medium. So let me read the comments here, catch up. Luke Cage. Omnibus and you get some more muscle. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I haul these short and long boxes around enough to get a nice little workout. All right, so as always, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to join my chat. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for all the comments that you guys make, and thank you also for welcoming me to this community. You guys are awesome. I enjoy interacting with you guys. If you ever want to chat, you can always message me at RegieCollects on Instagram if you happen to be there, or just continue to join the live chats and or comment on the videos that I post up. As you guys notice, I try to comment back to every single person that puts a comment in. Either I give you a like or a thumbs up, or I try to comment, because to me that is the proper way to handle someone that takes the time to make a comment. So thank you guys for taking the time to join me. Enjoy the rest of your evening.